Hey everyone, good morning. Hope your Thursday is going great so far. It's something we haven't talked about a whole lot this week so far, but we want to make sure we celebrate it. It's Women's History Month, and this past Tuesday was also International Women's Day. A lot to talk about here, Steph.
Yeah, and we should just keep celebrating this throughout the whole year is my vote. But here to elevate some incredible businesses in our own backyard in celebration of all of this is award-winning entrepreneur and host of the Dear Found Her podcast, our good friend Lindsay Pinchuk. Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, we love having you on. You're always full of great information. But we want to know, what have you seen with women during the course of the pandemic? Because this is a pretty interesting one here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, during the course of the pandemic, women, especially moms, had to embrace so many roles and do so many things that we normally wouldn't do. We were teachers, we were dealing with our house, we were working, there were so many things going on. But in line with the Great Resignation, we did see a lot of women pivot and shift, not only taking, their roles to keep their life afloat, but they really started doing things in the workplace that we're also keeping them afloat and doing things for themselves. So not just, starting businesses, which we saw so many women entrepreneurs start businesses, but we started seeing a lot of women advocate for things that they were passionate about. So lots of flexibility amongst women as well. That's really what they want. And I think if the pandemic's shown us anything, it's that we can do anything we want to.
We love to hear that.
Some good news. Yes.
Yeah. And you said that specifically the women you're talking about today, you wanted to highlight, they are making history. So let's talall about Katie, first of all. Katie. First of all. Yeah. She spells it a little funky, but Katie. She's the founder of a delicious snack company.
So she is the founder of Toodaloo, Katie Corey, and essentially she was stress eating during the pandemic and she saw the negative effects that it took on her diet. And she decided to create her own trail mix that is basically, and everything in this trail mix is an ingredient that you would know, that you would recognize, and it's available in 4 tasty flavors. They bill it as adaptogenic trail mixes. So they're plant-based, vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, but they're good for you and they're tasty. So I love someone that sees a need in their own life and imposes it on everyone else to help them have a good life as well.
Yeah, she's going to get me away from the Cheetos. I'll tell you that.
Right?
we'll have to give it a taste
Let's hop on that train. Yeah, for sure. Now, Lindsay, how about Hattie Hill?
So Hattie Hill is the president and CEO of the TD Jakes Foundation. She basically has helped so many of the world's largest companies focus on diversity, inclusion, and gender equity. But right now she's spearheading a STEM academy for Black and brown students and their education. And the foundation is going to expand to 15 different cities. So she has a big job and she's making waves for the future generations, which I love.
That is incredible. Man, and it sounds like a lot of work, quite frankly.
That's true.
Speaking of work, this is someone who is tackling an issue that's really tough for people to talk about. It's Karina Dawn with The Big Silence.
So Karina is a wellness entrepreneur. She's a New York Times bestseller, and she's a co-founder of the fitness app Tone It Up. But she also recently launched the Big Silence Foundation in honor of her mom, who lost her battle with paranoid schizophrenia. And the Big Silence is centered around providing resources and tools for those suffering in mental health disorders. Basically, it's devoted to changing the conversation with mental health and providing them, anyone who needs the resources to get through whatever it is that they're going through.
That's so huge. And I mean, doctors have been saying to us, the mental health side of this is like the new epidemic. It's the biggest problem we've seen since the pandemic started.
Yeah. So if there's anything timely, it's that, really and truly.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of layers here. But Lindsay, another tough topic, but again, important one. What about Jillian Coburn?
So Jillian Coburn is an entrepreneur, but she is also an advocate and she's a survivor. And she is essentially giving those who are living with domestic violence a way out. She assists women living with abuse and empowers them and teaches them how to get out, how to heal, how to build a life that they've always imagined. She and a committee were, they triumphed passing a bill called Bill 492, which allows victims of childhood sexual abuse to have their day in court against their perpetrators. And her dream is to basically have all states follow this trend. Another very important topic coming out of the shadows of the pandemic.
Gosh, so true.
Absolutely.
But go her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can continue to see her message spread. On a lighter note now, we're going to talk about a friend of the show. In fact, we just saw her in the last couple of weeks. It's Taramiko Valentine, who really is after those big conversations with kiddos that might be tough for parents to have.
Yes, and she is making history by bringing those tough conversations to life through Bright Littles, her company. She has the conversation cards, and she also is about to start a Kickstarter for her new journal product, which essentially her whole brand is about talking about these tough things with your kids. And I know as a mom, it is so hard sometimes to talk about the ins and the outs and the social inequities and whatnot. And she is doing a great job helping us as parents to give us the tools in order to have these conversations.
That's tricky.
Yeah. And speaking of, hard conversations, a lot of those really came to a head during the pandemic. So I find that, her doing this was really, really helpful. I actually had some people reach out via Instagram after she was on the show, Rosie, and ask, where can I get these cards? We need these conversations.
Brightlittles.com.
Yes. I was like, here's the website.
Yeah.
Gonna go. But Lindsay, these next two women are absolute powerhouses. I want to talk about Carly Tuckness and Shelly Phillips.
Yes. So I had the privilege of meeting Carly recently when she was in Chicago. They're the founders of Four Leaf and also the Versa Festival. So this is where we're going to tie Austin and Chicago together, because these two women are based in Austin, but their company is putting on the largest female powered festival that we've seen in decades in this country, right here in Chicago later this summer. It's music, comedy, culinary, entrepreneurship, 2 days, 5 stages of programming. They definitely have their work cut out for them. The lineup is incredible, and it's going to be an amazing day. And I know that their goal is to expand this festival and make it bigger and bigger every single year once they kick it off.
So cool.
Rosie, let's get tickets.
I know, and I'm excited.
Come visit.
Go check out that website. There's so much to see. Boy, they've got quite a festival that they're putting together there. So that is really, really cool. And speaking of getting to talk to female powerhouses, Lindsay, something that you launched in January was your Dear Found Her podcast. First of all, talk to us about how it's going and where you're heading with it next.
Yeah, so Dear Found Her is my twice weekly. We're doing it 2 times a week conversation with female founders, global female founders who are just making huge impacts in everything that they do. It's going really, really well. It's been downloaded thousands and thousands of times. And ultimately, my goal is to change the conversation about female entrepreneurship and really support those who want to start their own businesses, whether it's founding, growing, scaling, or even selling their businesses.
Love that. And you said you had so much content in the rafters that you're covered for a while just because there are so many amazing people to talk to.
We are, and I'm getting pitched amazing women every single day, and I don't want to turn anyone down, which is why we're doing it twice a week. So every conversation is a lesson in and of itself. So
I saw a post from you on Instagram this morning that was really, really powerful, actually. And I just stumbled across it, and it was about women and financial troubles and sort of like, hey, we're going to bring up this topic. And, my business could have been at a loss. I was having a really hard time. And Lindsay, I just think your honesty there was so powerful. But then you also provided some solutions for folks. So I know that that's what they're going to find as they listen to your podcast.
Thank you so much. It's so important to have these honest conversations because things aren't always rainbows and unicorns, right?
That's
right.
True. But you're a great example, Lindsay, of someone who is a mom, who is an entrepreneur, who is having the tough conversations and uplifting others in the process. We love to see you. Thank you so much for your information this morning, and we'll see you again soon. For more amazing women who are making history, follow Lindsay on Instagram and listen to her twice weekly podcast, Dear Founder, featuring some of the most amazing female founders and their stories on starting, growing, and sometimes selling a business. For more information, go to lindsaypinchuk.com.